Today, I'm not just going to give you a Fire Knight 25 team, but I'm going to teach you how to make one for yourself. What is going on, Raiders? Soda Dragon here. Today, I'm showing you how to get through Fire Knight 25. So if you guys have been struggling on it, trying to figure out different comps and trying to get that shield down, turn meter reduction, everything like that, I'm going to simplify everything for you today. So there are two main strategies with the Fire Knight. One is a partial turn meter reduction strategy where you're actually letting the Fire Knight take turns. And yes, he's hitting you for big damage, but you are still turn meter reducing him when you can. So you're slowing down the rate at which the Fire Knight takes turns. So that's the first strategy. The second is full turn meter reduction, meaning you are not even letting the Fire Knight take one turn. So of these two strategies, what we're looking at today is going to involve the second. We do not want the Fire Knight to even take one turn. Yes, we're talking Fire Knight 25. So there are three main problems in dealing with the Fire Knight, and these are here at the lower levels as well, but once you get to the upper levels of Fire Knight, these problems just get worse and worse. So what's the first problem? Firstly, we need to get through the enemy waves. So we need to build a team comp that is good enough to survive those enemy waves. Secondly is taking down the Fire Knight shield. So there's a certain amount of hits you need to hit on the Fire Knight shield in order to lower it so you can start to do damage and land debuffs, etc. So for Fire Knight 25, that is 12 hits, all right? And thirdly, turn meter reduction, okay? Because once again, that's our strategy, right? We want to turn meter reduce. So we need a team capable of reducing the turn meter of that Fire Knight so that Fire Knight does not even take one turn. So those are the three problems that we're looking at. Getting through the enemy waves, getting that shield down, and reducing that turn meter of the Fire Knight. So here is the core of your Fire Knight 25 team, Allure and Vizix. These are the only two essential characters for the comps I'm going to show you. So what two problems do these two solve? Firstly, they get you through those enemy waves. So fill out the rest of your team with pretty much whoever, and you can get through those enemy waves. What else do they solve? They solve the problem of turn meter control. These two, in and of themselves, are good enough to turn meter reduce the Fire Knight 100%. The Fire Knight will not take a turn. So what problem is still left? Well, we still have the problem of getting through the Fire Knight's shield. Fire Knight 25, we need 12 hits. So with the speeds I'm going to show you for Allure, she is actually going to go twice with her A1 before the Fire Knight goes. So that's 6 hits. Plus Vizix has a 2-hitter on her A1. So that's 8 hits. So how many is left? 4. So we have to get in 4 hits with 3 team slots left. So what does that mean? That means one person that we bring in has to have a multi-hitting A1. That's it. Now, if multiple people have multi-hitting A1s, that's fine. But we need at least one more person that we're going to bring in. It can be anybody to have a multi-hit A1. And then we've satisfied that last problem and we are good to go. So is Allure absolutely required to beat Fire Knight 25? No. Is Allure absolutely required to completely turn meter reduce Fire Knight 25 to not let him take a turn? No. But it's a lot easier if you have Allure. All right, so if you don't have Allure and you want to use other turn meter reducers and you want to do that full turn meter reduction strategy, chances are your gear is going to have to be really, really, really good. Remember, you're making up for something. You're making up for that lack of turn meter reduction. Allure's A1 is insane in reducing turn meter. And if you try to make up for that with other characters and their turn meter reduction is not as good, you can do it if they go fast enough. The question is, do you have the gear to do it? So I would say if you don't have Allure and you want to do a full turn meter reduction strategy, it might be easier to do the lower levels, 20, 21, something like that. But if you want to do 25, full turn meter reduction strategy without Allure, it is going to be hard. Impossible? No. But trust me, the gear requirements are going to be really high. So if you got it, give it a shot. The ones I'm showing you are with Allure because that's actually easier for you gear-wise. Okay, so once again, if you don't have Allure, it might be easier just to go with the lower levels of Fire Knight and wait until you pull her because she makes things so much easier. So the same question goes for Vizix. Do you need Vizix absolutely to beat Fire Knight 25 or to go full turn meter reduction on Fire Knight 25? No, you don't. But she makes things so much easier. Okay, it's very hard to find a turn meter reducer plus crowd control champ plus reduce speed, slow champ in one. She does that all. So those are multiple roles that you're gonna have to figure out how to get from other people if you're not using her, or you haven't pulled her yet, or you haven't logged in long enough to get her yet. So consider that. She is doing a ton for this team. Both of them are doing a ton for this team. So if we're talking about the easiest way, not speed runs or something like that, but the absolute easiest way to beat Fire Knight 25, with the comps I'm going to show you, then yes, these two will be essential for you. With these two, the gear requirements are going to be much, much easier than any other comp that I know for Fire Knight 25. So before we get to the different team comps, I'm going to go through the gear, stats, and masteries of Vizix and Lure, starting with Vizix. So here, I have her in an Immortal and a Regeneration set. Onto her total stats. So I have her at 51,000 health. I have the attack at 1800. I have the defense at 2900. Speed 199, so very reasonable. The crit rate 56, crit damage 121, debuff resistance 202, and debuff accuracy at 348. So really, for Fire Knight 25, you're looking at plus 200. If you can get plus 250, that'd be great. Closer to 300, even better. But really, you're looking at the 200s. If you want to land debuffs consistently, go for 250 and above. Onto her masteries. Now, none of these masteries are really required for Fire Knight 25, but down the offense tree here, you can go War Master if you want a quicker run. And really, this is with all of your characters that you can afford to. So you can get bonus damage based off enemy max HP. So this is great for bosses doing bonus damage. Doesn't happen all the time, 60% of the time, but you can get a big chance of bonus damage because those bosses have such large HP pools. So definitely War Master is worth it if you want to speed up your run. Here, if you're looking for extra accuracy, you can go Eagle Eye. So if you're struggling for that 200, 250 plus accuracy that we were talking about, you can go Eagle Eye to get that extra accuracy. But once again, really Fire Knight 25, none of these masteries are absolutely required. On to Allure. So how have I geared her? I have her in a speed set and a relentless set. So is that relentless set with an 18% chance to get an extra turn required for the comps I'm going to show you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What is required is the speed that I'm going to talk about, but relentless is not required. It's just a nice bonus. On to her total stats. So here I have her at 27,000 health. I have the attack at 2,700, the defense at 2,700, speed 242. Now this is really important. Really, you're looking for plus 240 speed. So this will ensure that your Allure can go twice before the Fire Knight. Really, really, really important. All right, because with her A1, that triple hitter, she takes care of 6 hits on her own. Plus, she's going to be really the last one to get a hit if she gets that double turn after your whole team goes through their rotation. That very last hit, if it takes down the shield, any debuffs still apply to that last hit. So all that turn meter reduction, the Fire Knight still gets it, even if Allure is the last one to hit on that 12th hit. So once again, we're looking at plus 240 speeds for your Allure to make sure your Allure goes twice. That's the strategy. Okay, so Allure can make up so many of those hits and get really that full turn meter reduction going with 240 plus speed. So that is what we're looking for. Relentless is not needed, but the speed is. So look at plus 240 speed for your Allure. So we have the crit rate 100% because for that A1 to land that turn meter reduction, she does need to land crits. So make sure you build her with crit rate. Crit damage not required, but it's 106. We have the resistance 123, and here debuff accuracy 302. So once again, we're overshooting that 250 plus number that we were looking at. Onto her masteries. So here I do have Eagle Eye on her just to make sure she lands that turn meter reduction. That is really her sole purpose, to be fast enough and to have enough accuracy to land that turn meter reduction and land enough hits on that shield. That's it. Now, if you have an Allure with enough accuracy, then once again, you can go here with War Master for bonus damage based off enemy max HP, or you can go Giant Slayer here. So in essence, they do the same thing. Some people prefer Giant Slayer when you're hitting with more than 3 hits. So Allure's A1 is a triple hitter. So here you can go Giant Slayer or you can go War Master, both of them. they do bonus damage based off enemy max HP. So once again, options if you have enough accuracy. But if you don't, then go ahead and go Eagle Eye. Or if you just want to be really sure that she lands that turn meter reduction. Alright guys, here's the first comp that we were looking at. And yes, it is probably the most budget comp that I can think of. So we do have Armiger in here. Now his A1 does have turn meter reduction, but we're not really using him for that, because Allure and Vizix got it handled. So why are we using him? We're using him for his A2. It is an enemy max HP skill. It does a ton of damage. So we're actually going to prioritize using that. We don't need the turn meter reduction. It's nice to have, but we don't need it. We're using him for his A2, that enemy max HP skill. We have Rosin coming in. He has a triple hitter on his A1, great for taking down that shield. Plus he has strong version defense down and weaken on his A2, and a full AoE turn meter reduction on his A3, great for the waves. So he is good all the way around. And we have Apothecary coming in with his triple hitting A1, plus his heals, his increased turn meter, and increased speed buff. Now I mentioned only one of the three that we're bringing in needs to have more than one hit. So technically we don't need Apothecary and Rosin, both. But if you want to bring in obviously more people that have more than one hit on their A1, then go ahead, it's fine. You can bring in 3 other people that have multi-hitters on their A1. It's just only one multi-hitting A1 champ is required alongside Allure and Vizix. That's it. On to the skill instructions. So for Allure and Vizix, they are going to be the same throughout all these runs. So for Allure, I like to turn off Temptation and Hellish Blaze. So if you want to speed up your runs, you can turn on Temptation, just turn it on default. It's an AoE that also sleeps. It does good damage. The problem with turning on Temptation for the boss is sometimes Allure will use Temptation when the boss's turn meter is too low. I'd rather have her use her A1 the whole time and keep the turn meter reduced on the boss. So it's up to you. If you want to speed up your runs, go ahead and turn on Temptation. For Vizix, she is just default. Now for Armiger, this is interesting. You actually want to put his A2 as the first choice, as the priority. Now, if you're using Armiger for turn meter reduction, then yeah, you might actually want to turn off this A2, but we are not. Remember, Vizix and Allure have it handled. They don't need any more help with the turn meter. So actually, we're not using Armiger for his turn meter reduction. We're using him for his enemy max HP skill. Now, his A2 functions as both. It's a block revive and an enemy max HP heavy hitting skill. The way the AI ends up using it is like a block revive skill. So the AI will only use this A2 when the enemy is close to death. Now for us, we want that really heavy hitting enemy max HP benefit out of that A2. So we're gonna make him use it as much as we can. That's why we have it turned on the first priority. If you need Armiger for his A1 turn meter reduction, then feel free to turn off later rest. But if you have the turn meter handled, then put later rest as the first priority, and you see the big damage numbers pop up from your Armiger. So not bad for a full auto run. And by the way, all of the comps today are full auto. But really, who cares how long it takes, right? Because if you leave this on overnight like a lot of people do, then you wake up and it's all done. But we can shave a few minutes off this run by making one substitution. So here, instead of Apothecary, we are coming in with Cold Heart. And with Cold Heart, we're going to shave about 3 minutes off the run. Really good. Now, the nice thing about Cold Heart is you do not have to input any skill instructions for the Fire Knight. She knows what to do. When the shield is up, she will do her A1, that quad hitter. And when the shield is down, she will start to use that Heart Seeker, that A3. So no need to put in skill instructions for her. And we're going to shave about 3 minutes off the run. So we're looking at about 11-minute run with Cold Heart instead of Apothecary. Not bad going from 14 minutes to 11 minutes by substituting in that Cold Heart for Apothecary. But can we make it even shorter? Yes. We can cut the time down by another 3 minutes with another substitution. So instead of Armiger, all we're going to come in with is a Royal Guard. Now instead of an 11-minute run, we're looking at an 8-minute run. 8-minute run. Okay, so big difference from using the Armiger to switching over for the Royal Guard. All right, guys, there you go. 8-minute run, not too bad. Now, if you guys want to get faster, you're going to need better gear. But if you want to get really fast runs, you're going to need Seer. So you're going to run a Seer comp if you really want those speed runs. But if you don't care, and if you run these comps like while you sleep, then there you go. All the comps that I showed you today are completely full auto. They're very reliable. And the core of the team is just Physics and Allure. That's all. So Physics, Allure, a multi-hitting A1 champ, and fill out the rest of your 5-person team, and that's it. It can be anybody. Rosin's a great choice, but he's not required either. So just remember that when you're thinking about your team. Do I have Physics? Do I have Allure? And do I have another multi-hitting A1 champ? And fill out the rest, and you are good to go. All right, guys, that is it for today. So on purpose, I am not showing you the gear stats and masteries of the other characters. Why is that? Because you'll think they're necessary to the comps. They are not. They are not. The only people necessary to this comp are Allure and Physics. And I know if I show you those gear stats and masteries, you're going to start to say, well, I don't have Royal Guard. I don't have Cold Heart. I don't have Rosin. I don't have this. I don't have that. You don't need them. As long as you have Allure and Physics, you have your core. Remember, 2 of those 3 problems that we mentioned in the beginning are done away with. Okay? You can get through those waves. You have the turn meter control. All you're looking at with filling out the rest of your team is getting in enough hits. So with Allure and Physics, you get 1 more multi-hitter in and 2 more anybody's, whoever they are, and you will beat Fire Knight 25 consistently, full auto. All right, so you fill out the team with whoever else is on your roster. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I don't know. But what I do know is a very easy way to beat Fire Knight 25 is to use these 2 ladies as your core, and you'll be good to go. And if you guys have learned something new today or something helpful, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.